That's the whole point. What do you think? Like people with fetishes, they're constantly going around like, I want a gag in my mouth. Anyone got a gag on this bus?
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
Good. Fine this morning. It's a morning Q&A.
That's true.
Rare.
We're trying to push these earlier and earlier in the day because, I don't know, we feel like we're better in the morning. I
feel personally like I'm better when I'm empty.
Oh.
Yeah. After I've had lunch and drinks and things have happened, my meter goes down.
Oh, that says something about your day, the progression of your day and the effect it has on your psyche.
Yeah. Every morning I wake up and I think to myself, this is going to be a shitty day. And then it's always slightly shittier.
Oh, Andy, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy then.
Yeah.
You have the wrong attitude. We're giving people advice, so come on.
You're right. Let's get to it.
Lead by example.
Let's help people. Yeah, I wake up feeling great every day.
Okay, let's get started on a dark note. All right, this first question is from Cat, as in the animal.
Oh, it is?
It's spelled C-A-T.
So it's a cat?
Well...
I like
Did you just get extra excited?
I mean, there's nothing I would love more than to get a Q&A question from a cat.
Oh, that's true. That would be the pinnacle for you.
What would that question be? It's a relationship question.
Yeah. I feel like it would have something to do with the owner either neglecting them or giving them too much attention, like feeling smothered.
Yeah, but this is a relationship podcast. It would have to be relationship based with another cat. I would think
it could be with their owner.
It's going to be a relationship based question.
Okay.
And cats have romantic relationships just like everybody else.
I don't know. When I look at cat sex, not that this is something I'm looking at all the time, I'm like, that is horrific.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think the question, if a cat wrote in to Dear Shandy, would be something related to the spiked, horrible penis that is inserted into them when they're being had sex with.
Dear Shandy, hi. I've never been into listening to / watching relationship podcasts, but I always will for Dear Shandy.
Aww.
Thank you, Kat. I love your content. I am a 21-year-old woman and have been dating a man, 24, on and off for 3 years. It was mostly on and off because we met my first year / his last year of college, so he's had to move a couple of times for employment reasons since then. But about a year and a half ago, he moved to a city about 2 hours away by car from where I live, so we started seeing each other more seriously then. In February, we took a break for a few months because we just weren't seeing each other very often and our lives just weren't really matching up all that well. Late April, he reached back out, and since then, we have only seen each other twice. And by the way, she sent this in July. We never had the conversation about being exclusive again or anything like that, but I now am seeing that the relationship still has all of the flaws that it did before. It's just not working. I know I should end it, but I've never broken up with someone before and feel horrible anytime I just think about it. I have been broken up with 3 times and it was always done over text, including by him. And I know that's a shitty feeling. But my question is, how do I avoid breaking up with someone over phone / text when we live 2 hours away and I know the trip wouldn't be worth it at all? Thanks, you guys. Much love, Kat.
That's a very cat-like question. It's actually not. A cat wouldn't give a shit. No. They'd be like, break up? I'm going to eat him. I'm going to wait till he's asleep and I'm going to start eating him.
Okay. So I think that before we answer this, we are going to first address the caveat that they've been already on and off for 3 years. They've broken up. It sounds like she's never done any of the breaking up. He's broken up with her via text. So that's obviously going to color our answer here.
I'm not even sure she needs to do anything.
So you think she should just stop replying?
Can I be honest here? If there was ever a time for a power fade, it is now.
Yeah, he reached back out in April. They're only 2 hours away from each other and they've only seen each other twice.
I got to be honest again.
Are they even in a relationship?
This is the second time I'm being honest. I don't think they're in a relationship. I don't think there's anything to break up with.
She is being way too nice and considerate of his feelings. And it's because she knows how bad it feels to receive it. So she's, I think, projecting how bad that feels and she doesn't want to cause that for anyone else.
Yeah.
I don't think she owes him all that much here. She doesn't owe him a drive to go break up with him in person. But normally I would say at least do a phone call. I don't even know if that's necessary here.
I will say this about breakups. Counterintuitively, I believe that breaking up with someone when you really care about them and when it's not totally expected, like they're like, okay, today you're breaking up with me, right? And you're like, yeah, actually, that's what I had in my schedule. But I'm saying when it's actually hard, it's harder to be the breaker-upper than the breaker-uppee.
It's hard in a different way.
It's hard in a different way. It's hard the way like doing a bungee jump is hard.
Yes.
Like after it's over, you're like, oh, that was amazing.
Yeah,
I feel great.
yeah.
But getting broken up with is like finding out that you just ate some food that has a tapeworm in it, and it's going to take like 6 months for the tapeworm to work through your system. And you know that.
And there's nothing you can do about it. You're like, this is just going to kill.
No, it's just going to get through your intestine. It's going to eat most of your food. You're going to get skinny. You're going to be hungry all the time. You're going to feel shitty.
Yeah.
And one day you're going to shit out a giant worm.
Wait, is that what happens? You shit it out?
I think
I thought they have to be removed. They don't have to be removed?
You know, that's a good point, because if I was a tapeworm, I would figure out a way to not be shit out and just to live in there forever. So maybe they do have to be removed. Either way, you're looking at several months of a real serious problem that's not life-threatening, but life-shittening.
But if we're applying that to their situation, I honestly don't think he's going to... And I don't mean this as a diss to you, Kat. I just think that your relationship is hardly a relationship. And I don't think he's going to be A, surprised, or B, all that upset.
Yeah. Anyway, my point about making that previous analogy...
Which one, the tapeworm?
Yeah, the tapeworm
or
and
the bungee jumping.
The whole thing, that whole tangent was related to the fact that breaking up is, generally speaking, I think...
in the moment.
...more difficult than receiving a breakup in the moment.
I don't know if I totally agree. I mean, you've been heartbroken. You know, it's...
For a nice person. For a person who's a piece of shit, it's honestly probably something to look forward to.
Okay.
But for a nice person, I consider myself a nice person. I'm sensitive. Maybe not nice, but I'm very sensitive. And I don't like the thought of causing harm upon someone who trusts me implicitly, maybe trusts me more than anyone else.
Yeah, and you've shared so much at that point.
Yeah.
But she's just being way too considerate. Kat, I think that this is a text. I don't think you even need to give a phone call. If you really wanted to go above and beyond and not inflict on others what you've been inflicted with, then yeah, you could do a phone call. But I think that this is like a simple, hey, you know, we clearly aren't seeing each other that often. A final break might be good for us. Expand our horizons, meet other people.
Yep. To close out my tangent that never gets wrapped up. Still going. It's still hanging in the breeze.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
It's still not been closed. But my point is that generally speaking, breaking up is a very hard thing to do. In this situation, it is not only not hard to do, but it is something you might actually have some fun with. Like, this is not something that's going to ruin your day. Yeah. That's my opinion.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, Kat, just hearing us talk about this, I think the fact that we are taking it so unseriously, not to, you know, downplay your situation, but usually when a question is asked first, by the way, not to give away any inside baseball, but it usually means that we consider it a lighter question.
Right. This is in the light category. Yes. I agree. And it's light because, number one, I don't believe this is legally a relationship.
Me neither.
So therefore, breaking up is not really a thing that probably needs to or legally can be done.
Yeah.
That being said, even if this was a legally condoned relationship, the logistics of what she's dealing with might preclude a breakup in person as well. Like, even if this was actually kind of a real relationship and you're 2 hours away and you've only seen each other a couple of times in the last month, I would say you could do it over the phone. I don't know if it's necessary to see them in person. So there's no question.
Yeah, well, okay. I don't want it to sound like we think that you should break up with people over text, but it is a custom, a bespoke answer. And in this situation, hell no, should she go visit him to do this? And maybe, give a phone call, but it sounds like he's broken up with her via text several times by now. Let's be honest, this relationship should not have rekindled in April.
No, this should be totally unkindled.
Do you believe that once broken, always broken?
I've said in the past, I believe that to be true. Yes. 99.8% of the time, if something breaks, it was meant to be broken, period. But
not 100%.
But that's not the point of this. No relationship ever should be broken up via text, no matter what the nature of that relationship is, it's better to not do anything than to break up via text, in my opinion. Not do anything, just disappear from the earth. A text is a cowardly and disrespectful way of breaking up with someone. And if you text someone to break up with them, that probably means a breakup wasn't necessary in the first place, or you're a complete asshole.
Oh, I can tell you're satisfied with that answer. You do this thing after where you're like,
There's
a finality to it. Well, you've got a point, but is ghosting ever really better? I don't think ghosting is ever
No, it's
nice.
not a good thing to do, but it's better in some ways than texting a breakup.
You know what I'm realizing is that they've only seen each other twice since April. I think that he's been doing that to her.
Basically, he's been soft ghosting her and most likely seeing several, if not a handful of other people.
And the more I think, she said that they haven't talked about exclusivity. He reached back out in April. They've only seen each other twice since then. You think he's not dating other people? Give me a break. They're not in a relationship. Kat, move on. Oh my God. The more I think about this, the more black and white it gets.
Yeah.
Okay. Have we answered it?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have a cat, feeding your cat today is far more important than thinking about this.
All right, Kat, good luck. All right, this next question is from K as in the letter. Dear Shandy, I've been a listener for about a year now, but Charlene's season was the first Bachelor I ever watched. I was like 14. That makes me feel very old.
Yeah, that's a real backhanded compliment. I loved you so much before electricity was invented.
Okay. I am emailing because the insight both of you provide to those who write in is top tier. Okay, Kay, you made up for it. I am Kay, 23, although 22 at the beginning of this story. And the guy, Nick, is also 23. I love that Nick gets a name.
At that age, you actually pay attention to like, not years. Like now it's like, for me, it's like decades.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I in my 40s, 50s, 60s? It's like years years are like months now.
Yeah.
But back then you're like 22, 23. That's like a big, big difference. It's
Yeah.
like when you're a kid, you're like, I'm 7 1/4.
Totally. Oh my God. That's the early 20s version of that.
Yeah.
Like the college age version of that.
Yeah. Like if I wrote in, I'd be like, I'm somewhere between 40 and 60.
Well, it's funny when sometimes we'll get email from someone who's like, I'm in my late 30s.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need the exact number and the apartment number.
Are we shooting it back at her for the backhanded compliment?
Yes, we're even now.
We first met on a dating app in February and hit it off. We went on about 5 or 6 dates, including the movies, a sake bar, and he made me dinner in the span of just over 2 weeks when he started to fade in communication. I confronted him at first and he tried to play it off, but eventually he admitted he wasn't in a place for a serious thing, so we ended it and I was hurt. I had to block him on Instagram, etc. to get over it. Oh God, I keep forgetting. These poor people in their early 20s, that's just it. That's the only existence they know. It's like, I have to block you also in this other way now.
Is there any way that this isn't bad? Like, is there any way in like 100 years people look back and be like, no, social media was good?
No, it's impossible.
The way we look back at like an agrarian time, we're like, oh no, farming, that was so nice when they had local farms. But now maybe back then they were like, these local farms are terrible. I wish we had some ginormous farm that produced everybody's food and owned all the seeds.
Really dark today.
Sorry.
I find it funny though. You know, I think looking back, we'll think, oh yeah, Instagram might have been helpful for some small businesses, but at the end of the day, the bigger corporations had all the money to spend on marketing anyway. So even that, I'm like,
Will it be as bad as the Black Death?
I mean, not as obviously.
Subtle.
Maybe in a more insidious, slow play kind of way.
So when like the next, whatever, when the rats take over and become human-like, they're going to look back and say, this was the harbinger of the end.
Oh yeah,
of the
they're
humans.
going to, when they're intelligent enough to take stock of such things, they'll
Right.
say, that's the thing we have to avoid.
Right. So in their textbooks, their rat textbooks, they're going to have a chapter on the social media, and then the next chapter is just like human race goes extinct, and the next chapter is rats take over, and then that the rat history begins.
Yeah, I have a feeling there'll be a chapter about global warming somewhere in there.
Oh yeah. Rats can deal with global warming. They're very adaptable. They don't care.
There was no communication until July 1st when he texted me out of the blue saying, "Hey Kay, I hope you're doing well. I've been thinking about you a lot lately and how I miss hanging out with you. I was wondering if you'd like to grab a coffee or something and catch up a bit."
Heavy on the something.
To which I agreed. I was excited, okay? We had a great second first date and made out and just hugged and cuddled a lot. I was still unsure of his intentions in reconnecting, so I asked what they were. To this, on our second time hanging out, he said he's in a place now for a more serious thing. He's over a toxic situation that was fresh and he is happy with his relationships and has always liked me. I also asked if he was just looking to hook up, but he assured me that wasn't the case. I want to believe that because we have a tentative date to hang out with his best friend and his girlfriend. But he admitted he had a secret, that he had just seen me out on a date 2 days before texting me to reconnect, but that he had been thinking of reaching out for a while. I don't really know what to make of that. Should I jump back into this? Are there any other red flags that pop up with this? Thanks for your insight, Kay.
It's an interesting thing to tell someone because that's something that I would be
You would not tell them that.
either ashamed of or realize that that can't come off looking good.
So you think he either is that honest, where he is that sincere about wanting to date her, or do you think that he is clueless as to how that could come off as a red flag?
Based on his age, I think the latter.
Ooh. Yeah, to me, when I read this email, I instantly thought, oh, he wants what he can't have.
Exactly.
He didn't want her when he could have her.
Oh, he saw her on a date. You know what? And I'll be perfectly honest. This is a very common human reaction. This has happened to me before. I literally started dating someone again because I saw them out with a guy.
You have friends who have proposed.
Oh, I have friends who have kids with the people that they saw out on a date and wanted
to
back.
be honest, let's be honest now. Are those, do you think, the best relationships you know of?
I do not.
Yeah, that's Andy's being delicate now, but I totally think that in this situation, once broke. I'm not saying always, but I don't think it should take having to see you on a date with someone else to be like, oh yeah, I did like that.
I agree. It's more a reflection of his shortcomings than a reflection of how good their connection is.
Yeah, and it would be different if, let's say, a year plus had passed, but a year plus has not passed. They first met in February, and then he doesn't reach out until July when he sees her again. He basically had to be reminded of her existence, in my opinion. There was no text between February and July, and now he's suddenly in a place to date seriously.
You know what it's like? It's like, let's say you go gluten-free, and you're like, you know what? I feel pretty good. I feel good. And every time everyone goes gluten-free, they don't really know. They don't know if they feel better. They say they've convinced themselves.
You sound like someone who's never gone gluten-free and has never felt better.
No one enjoys a good gluten more than me. Any shape or form, I like
feel that way
gluten.
about sugar. Like, I've tried to quit sugar so many times, and I keep waiting for that euphoria to kick in where I feel amazing. And I think I just haven't lasted long enough.
I know that a lot of people legitimately need to be gluten-free.
Yeah.
I'm not disrespecting them. But what I'm saying is, what I'm comparing it to is someone who goes gluten-free. And then they're like, oh, I feel pretty good. And then they're just walking by like a buffet and there's just, they're like waffles and pancakes and like cacio e pepe. Like,
yeah. People are going to chime in about all the wonderful gluten-free waffles, pancakes, and pasta there is now.
Oh yeah. I've heard about those. I'm sure they're
anyway,
really good.
I understand your point, meaning it was out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I don't want to sound too strict about this kind of stuff, but I don't think that you should have to return into someone's sight when you went on 5 or 6 dates with them. Like, I think that's enough time to make an impression on someone where they don't want to lose you.
Yeah, I agree.
In my opinion.
I agree.
And I don't know. I don't want to put a sour note on her starting to date him again. But, okay, I think if anything like this, if he starts to fade again.
Yeah, short leash.
Yes.
Short leash,
yes,
tiny.
Exactly. It's a very short leash. If anything like this starts to happen again, like he's now got you, so he's going to start losing interest in you. Life's too short. There will be other people who do want to date you from the onset. You don't have to go on a second round of dating.
Absolutely. And she's very young.
Yes.
Very young. So young.
Young enough to talk about being 21 when she
was 22 and 3/4 when she wrote in to us. And now she's 23 and 1/8. And that's extremely young.
Yes.
And she has no need to deal with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I would say this because I know her. I know her after this. I feel like we're very close, but I feel like she's going to have these kind of what ifs, maybe, some form of pre-regret, like, oh, I should have really given that a shot.
And that's why she should see this through.
Short leash.
Yeah.
Like this kind of leash.
I couldn't agree more because I don't want to give the advice to end it. He's a walking red flag because I don't necessarily feel that way. I just think that 80% chance that he only wanted to rekindle things because he realized he didn't have you anymore. He saw you with someone else, blah, blah, blah. And I don't believe that you should have to be in sight to be in mind. But she should go through this. She should experience this. And maybe they'll end up dating for years and maybe we're way off. But you're right. What she needs to avoid is the what if.
Yeah, she's got to be in the middle. She can't go either full cold turkey and the opposite is like completely like, oh my God, this is amazing. You're the one, somewhere very close to the middle, because the fact is she's young enough to have to learn.
Yeah.
She needs to go to school.
She should learn it.
Yeah. She should go to, this is school. This is a class.
Yes.
She's auditing a class in ghosting.
Yeah, she said he faded.
Oh, no. She's auditing a class in fading and returning 101.
It could just be auditing a class in dating in your early 20s.
I needed to be specific because there's a whole university about dating. Yeah. This is one class.
Okay. Have fun. Try to enjoy this, I think.
Yeah.
I know that sounds a little trite at the end of all that, but I think that even if it is a tough lesson, that is worth more than our advice to tell you not to trust him or,
Sure.
The advice that we could give that might fast track this to the same result is not worth nearly as much as her living through it, especially at her young age when she can afford it.
I agree.
Yeah. So
see what happens? The short leash. What would you call something this short that's a leash form?
It kind of looks like
it's a strap. Keep him on a strap. A watch band.
A watch strap.
A watch strap. Okay. That's it. Got it.
All right, Kay, good luck.
I got to tell you, I've been really fed up with, in general, healthcare in this country. It's difficult.
It is.
It's like an escape room. It's like try to make a doctor's appointment and not pay full price for it.
Yeah, or try to get what you should be covered by your insurance to be covered.
Nailed it.
You knew what I meant. It's just such a dog-eat-dog world. And how nice is it to have ZocDoc actually on your side to help navigate that?
The oasis of ZocDoc.
Yes. An oasis in that dog-eat-dog world.
In a desert of misery.
Yeah. Of people trying to they're trying to shake you for every last cent.
Yeah. They make it, what they do is they make it so hard to do this that you're set up to fail. Mm-hmm. And ZocDoc is there. They're the safety net. They're like, you know what? This is hard. We're going to help you through.
Yeah. ZocDoc takes, in my opinion, the 4 most crucial details about booking and finding a doctor. So first of all, there's location. Obviously, you could have a perfect doctor, but if they're not actually near you, then what good is that? Next is patient reviews. So other patients just like you, whether or not they like that doctor, whether or not they're competent, if they have good bedside manner. Third, and this one's huge, is whether or not they take your health insurance. Mm-hmm. This is major.
Major.
In the past, what do? Do you just call manually each doctor's office and be like, oh,
or call your insurance company?
Oh, even worse. Oh my God, that's like my worst nightmare.
Just kill me.
Yeah, so you can, in your search engine, filter by whether or not they take your insurance. Where's their location? What kind of reviews do they have? And you can also search by availability. So let's say it's urgent. Mm-hmm. Let's say you need a referral. You can search by whether or not you can see that doctor, not only this week, but today. And to top it all off, you can schedule that appointment within ZocDoc without ever calling the doctor's office.
ZocDoc to the literal rescue.
Yes. Good use of literal, Andy.
Thank you. That was a literal use of literal. Rare.
ZocDoc is a free app that shows you doctors who are patient reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them.
Go to ZocDoc.com/Shandy and download the ZocDoc app for free.
Then start your search for a top-rated doctor today.
Many are available within 24 hours.
That's ZocDoc.com/Shandy. ZocDoc.com/Shandy. All right, this next question is from RT, as in the 2 letters. Dear Shandy, longtime listener and first-time writer here. There's a situation that I've been grappling with for several months now, and I knew I had to get your thoughts. I'm a 29-year-old female from Ontario, and my boyfriend, also 29, and I have been together for 2 years. We come from a culture where it is not uncommon to have limited interactions with each other's families until the relationship gets very serious, i.e. when both partners agree that marriage is in the near future. We met each other's families a few months into our relationship, but I have only interacted with his parents approximately 10 times. I mentioned the frequency of interactions to illustrate that I am not particularly close to his family, and I am still very much getting to know them, win them over. Some of my visits have been during special occasions such as birthdays and Christmas. My boyfriend's mom has given me gifts during those occasions, and I have been super grateful, even if they weren't necessarily items that I would pick out for myself. The particular situation I'm seeking your advice on dates back a few months to Christmas of 2021.
Dun, 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 dun.
I did not...
Where should I go? Wait, is
that a Christmas carol?
That's a Christmas carol version of dun 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 dun.
I should have picked up on that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It was very weird.
I did not have plans to see my boyfriend's family over the Christmas season because we all had busy schedules and struggled to find a time that works for everyone. But we still exchanged gifts through my boyfriend. My boyfriend's mom gifted me a necklace, and with it, she sent a gift receipt. When I called to thank her, she mentioned that I could exchange the necklace if I wasn't fond of the style. Well, she was spot on because I really did not like the necklace. I hardly wear jewelry, and if I do, I gravitate towards minimalistic and dainty pieces.
Oh, this is gonna blow up.
This necklace was not that. It was bold and flashy and very much out of my comfort zone. I felt terribly guilty because I knew she spent a lot of money on it, and through my boyfriend, I've come to learn that the family has always struggled financially. I had considered keeping the necklace and just not wearing it, but because I was hyper aware of their financial struggles, I thought it would be best to exchange the necklace for something I would wear more often. Ooh. I did not want the money to go to waste. I wasn't sure if this was an appropriate decision, so I ran it by my boyfriend and he encouraged me to exchange it. He also thought I should get something I'd get more wear out of. I also ran the decision by my mom, who felt there was nothing wrong with exchanging it, especially because my boyfriend's mom gave me the gift receipt.
I would also say this. Dear Shandy approves this decision.
Yeah, I think that it even goes without saying. Yeah.
I just want to make it clear that we're not wavering on that.
No.
This is a very normal decision.
No, I'm glad you're saying that because we could wait till the end of the question to say what we think, but we clearly, so far, based on the evidence and the fact that she said on the phone you can exchange it, she included a gift receipt. Yes. Okay.
And I'm assuming, I'm making a big assumption here, that this question somehow has to do with the problem that resulted from this necklace situation, which if it doesn't, this is the most amazing Q&A question we've ever gotten. A total digression about something totally unimportant and not central to your question. Chef's kiss, but I don't think it's that. So I'm going to assume that we need to weigh in on the decision.
It says something that if it's not about this specifically, you regard this as not that important.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I hesitantly made the exchange and have fallen in love with my new necklace. I wear it all the time. Fast forward to February when his family and I got together for his father's birthday. I was sitting across the table from my boyfriend's mom and sister. A few minutes into the dinner, my boyfriend's mom complimented his sister on the necklace she was wearing. What's the Christmas version of that?
Oh, challenge accepted. It's
actually, that's the perfect song. That's the Nutcracker piece. That's perfect.
Out of breath. What? Oh, Jaws is the Nutcracker Suite Christmas style?
Yes. It sounds suspenseful, but still jolly. Genre. Yes.
Yeah. I agree.
A few minutes into the dinner, my boyfriend's mom complimented his sister on the necklace she was wearing. Turns out it was the same necklace that she got for me. His mom then said out loud, "Well, someone else didn't like the necklace I got her. She went and exchanged it." And this is when I learned that my boyfriend had mentioned to his mom that I had chosen to exchange it. The mom asked me why I exchanged it and continued to make little comments about how I didn't like her gift. She said it in a joking tone, but it didn't feel like a joke. Fast forward a few weeks and I am at my boyfriend's parents' house for his birthday. It was his birthday, but his sweet grandmother decided to gift me a beautiful set of earrings.
Wait, these are Canadians?
Yes.
There's a lot of spite for Canadians here.
She said they come from a culture where it is not uncommon to have limited interactions with each other's families until the relationship gets very serious.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if there's...
So it's a subculture within Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't think Canadians are not capable.
Well, you're a big spite person.
I mean, I'm learning this about myself, yes. We don't have to keep talking about it. When my boyfriend's mom noticed the gift, she said out loud to the grandmother, "I hope she likes it. She didn't like the gift I got her, so she exchanged it." She said this in front of approximately 15 family members. I was terribly embarrassed and I apologized and tried to explain that I wanted to make sure I got good wear out of the gift she got me, which is why I exchanged it. And then as I was leaving the party, the mom said to me, "I hope you like the gift Grandma got you. Remember, this is her first gift to you."
Wow.
I interpreted this as, "Don't you dare exchange those earrings, Missy." I've only seen his mom once since the party, but I am now constantly anxious that the necklace situation will come up again. My birthday was a few weeks ago and she called me to wish me a happy birthday and she asked me what I wanted for my birthday. She proceeded to say, "I heard you're really picky, so I thought I would just ask you what you want." I politely told her I didn't need anything and our conversation ended well. Ultimately, the family ended up pitching in and getting me a gift card to the mall. Here are my questions. 1, was I in the wrong for exchanging the necklace? I really feel like I was. I can see now how that would have been hurtful to her.
Oh, so you already answered a question. Next question.
Yeah. I mean, RT, you were not in the wrong.
No. I mean, look, if you wanted to play this incredibly safely, if you really wanted to be like, you know what? I don't like this necklace, but I am going to not take 1/1,000,000th of 1% of risk.
And instead,
I would say yes.
Instead, I'm going to wear a necklace that is not my style at all and that I almost feel uncomfortable wearing, but I'm going to wear it in her presence just to make her happy.
Yeah.
That would be playing it the ultimate safe. But
I mean,
that's not what I would do.
Yeah. I look, she's dealing with like a mafia boss here. He's like, "I would greatly appreciate it if you don't return the gift that my dearest mother gives you. It would make me very happy."
It's a good impression.
Decent.
2, was it okay for my boyfriend's mom to make the comments that she did? I've been consumed by embarrassment, regret, and guilt every time she does. I also feel a little hurt and angry that she was making these comments out loud. Am I just being sensitive? Is this the consequence I have to accept for the decision that I made?
This is an example of the question is not this question. The question is, how are you going to deal with this family? That's the question.
Okay, so question number 3 is...
Oh,
well,
sorry, I jumped the gun.
Well, question number 3 is there anything I could do to make this better?
No.
Okay, and let me just get to the end of the email. To provide some additional context, my boyfriend has always painted his mom out to be a rash, blunt person who gets upset very easily. He has a relatively strained relationship with her due to her inability to communicate well, and they are frequently in conflict over minor matters. My boyfriend has only had one other serious relationship back in his late teens/early 20s, and he talks about how much his mom disliked his then girlfriend without good reason. Given this context, I find that I can't take anything she says lightheartedly. Her comments about the necklace may not have been serious, but it's hard to believe given what I know about her. I am now in constant fear that our relationship will not recover from this. I wish I just kept that damn necklace. Looking forward to your thoughts, RT.
Look, this falls into the category of where is your boyfriend in this game, this pettiness? Where is he? Is he with you as a team, or is he kind of playing the middle, or is he with the mother?
Well,
that's the question.
I think it's interesting that he told the mother that she did this, but at the same time, the mother said that she could do it, and she included a gift receipt. So on one hand, I'm like, why did the boyfriend tell her this all could have been dodged? But then the mother might have noticed that she wasn't wearing the necklace and said something anyway. So I don't really know if the boyfriend has done that much wrong thus far.
I'm not accusing him.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Okay.
just saying I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where he says. I don't have enough information from this whole sketch
Yeah.
to know exactly where he is. But the real question here is not. This is all a red herring for the real question.
Yeah.
The premise of the question is you're dealing with a potentially tricky family situation.
It sounds like it's just the mom.
Well, she's family.
Yeah.
I'm saying it doesn't have to be the whole
Yeah,
family.
but I don't
it's not
think-
like the
I don't
Manson
think that their
family.
relationship should be at risk because of the mother.
No. You're taking it to
Okay,
extreme.
sorry.
I'm saying this falls in the broad category of issues with family,
Yes.
with your
Yeah,
boyfriend or girlfriend or
Yeah.
whoever's family. So that being said, those questions generally fall to the secondary issue, which is how tight is the team that you're in versus these family issues.
Yeah.
And that's all I care about. And that's all she should care
Yeah.
about. Personally, that's what I
It
think.
sounds like he's on her team
Then
to
it's
me.
then it's done. All she has to do is take a lesson from this. I'm talking to
Yeah.
you now.
Yeah, RT, I think that for sure you have done nothing wrong. And I'm irked
Yeah.
that the mother has made you, RT, feel like you were in the wrong. And like she's caused her to feel a lot of shame and embarrassment
She should
over
apologize. I think
mother should
that RT
apologize.
is owed an apology,
this. Yeah, I
which
agree,
I don't
but
think
it's
she's
never
going
going to
get.
happen.
It's never going to happen.
So never going to happen.
But that being said, two things. One is take this to heart and know that this is how petty she can be. Watch out next time.
Yes.
You can avoid
Next
this.
time, definitely do not
Yeah.
exchange any gift and make a point of wearing
Make
it
a
in her
point. Yeah,
presence.
look at my disgusting necklace that I hate. Look at me wearing it to this family gathering.
I love it so
Yeah,
much.
it's so beautiful and trashy.
Well, I hate to say this, but when you realize you're dealing with a person like this, someone who speaks in tongues, like to me, the mother laid down a trap.
Yeah.
It looks to me like the mother laid down a trap for her. And I also, I don't want to get all like psychological here, but to me, what I gather is the mother does not have confidence in her own taste. And therefore is projecting onto you.
Insecurity.
Yeah, she's insecure about the fact that she got you something that you don't like. She probably doesn't feel super secure in her own taste because if she were, she wouldn't give a rat's ass that you did this.
Yeah.
And she would respect that everyone has different tastes. So it's
Agreed.
her own insecurity speaking above all here. But now that you know that you're dealing with someone that does lay down traps, is insecure, and will punish you for doing things that they told you could do, I honestly feel that you need to then treat that person like kind of like a child.
I agree.
Like, look at the necklace I'm wearing. I love it so much. Like, you
Yeah.
kind of have to deal with it in this really obvious, grand gesture, like,
You know what?
extra,
I
almost kind of fake kind of way.
I've actually coined a phrase for this
Oh.
that I've used in the past, and it didn't stick. No one liked it. But I'm going to tell you, I call it turning the other ass cheek.
Wait, is this something you have long had?
I've held out for 8 years. On
I
this
can't
one for
believe
you.
you've never told me this.
Yeah, turning the other ass cheek. That means basically turning the other cheek, but in a way where you're like, I'm turning the cheek, but you're an idiot.
Yeah. No, I love that saying. Who
thank
did
you.
not give this saying the credit it deserves?
I used it one time, and I tossed it in the can because everyone was looking at me like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Who were you with?
My friends are very judgmental. What can I say?
Oh my God, that's a high bar for comedy if they didn't find that
Are
funny.
you kidding? With my group of friends, if you say something that's not funny or
Yeah,
corny,
yeah.
you're like, it's you might as well just go home.
Sounds very stressful.
It is. Well, it hones your comedy skills.
Yeah, clearly.
But apparently this one shouldn't have been thrown in the can.
I
according
don't
to you.
think so. I think this is a perfect turn the other ass cheek situation.
Great. It's back. It's back.
Back in the rotation. Yeah, RT, I don't think you should say anything. I don't think you should apologize. I think you move on. And I unfortunately think you're going to have to let the passive aggressive digs about you being picky and stuff roll off your back.
Yeah.
I think time will heal all.
But also, again, to bring back my earlier point, make sure that the home front is secure.
Yes, I agree. Make sure the boyfriend isn't
Yeah.
telling you one thing and then going. I only say that because we have gotten questions where
Yep.
it did sort of feel like the boyfriend / son was sort of playing both sides a bit to just sort of, I don't know,
No.
have something to say to his mother. I don't know what.
Solidarity, united
Yes.
front. Marriage must be a united front. But they're not married. But they're going to be married.
Well,
probably.
yeah, because
I'm
that's
guessing
why
they're
she's
gonna
met
be
his
married.
parents.
Yeah. And there's no question at that wedding, there's going to be some heavy stink eye from that mother. You're like, oh, she looks beautiful, but she returned my necklace. Bitch.
I do think all jokes aside, that they can heal from this, but I do think that this will require a lot of like stroking, ego stroking. That's what this comes down to.
Treat her like a baby. Like you said, treat her like a baby.
Her mother's ego has been bruised.
Yeah.
And you did not know that she had laid a trap.
Turn that ass cheek. Now I'm really saying it with confidence.
All right, RT, we'll leave it there. Please do not spend another second from listening to this answer. Moving forward, do not spend another second feeling guilty.
And one more thing I would like to say.
Yeah.
I, and you, I know you as well, would like a picture of the first necklace and the second necklace. Right? We want that.
I mean,
we're owed that.
I wasn't going to ask, but I wouldn't turn down the option to look at them. Yeah.
Yeah. After this, we're going to be like, oh, her mother's totally right. Now I know why she's pissed off. RT has terrible taste.
I already know based on the description that RT is more likely in our wheelhouse. Yes. Okay, moving on. This next question is from an embarrassed Shandy.
Ooh.
Dear Shandy, I am literally sick with anxiety right now, and I'm hoping you can help me. I have always had a weird fetish around the idea of BDSM, specifically being gagged. This is something that I feel extremely embarrassed about, as it is quite often the departure from how I would say I present myself to the world. But isn't that the whole point with fetishes?
That's the whole point. What do you think? Like people with fetishes, they're constantly going around like, I want a gag in my mouth. Anyone got a gag on this bus? How long do I have to wait to be gagged?
Yeah. We have to come up with a name for an embarrassed Shandy. AES? AES? Just so that I'm not saying an embarrassed Shandy, blah, blah, blah. Just embarrassed. Embarrassed.
Shembarrassed?
just embarrassed.
Okay.
I guess all we're saying before we continue the question, embarrassed, is that you're normal.
That's the normal thing to do. You think these CEOs who go to dungeons and are dressed up in diapers and beaten and told that they had to do their homework, you think that that's how they act? No, they do that because they want to do the exact opposite of what their whole life is.
Yes,
they want to let go of the power. They want to just be like a baby.
Yes, and also I will add, embarrassed, that I think gagging is a pretty standard.
It's the least embarrassing fetish of them all.
Yeah,
I cannot think of a less embarrassing fetish.
Yeah.
Let's name fetishes, and I guarantee every single one is more embarrassing. I'm not even going to think about it. Foot fetish, more embarrassing.
Oh, dressing up like animals, more embarrassing.
You go. I feel like this.
Wanting to be peed on or wanting to pee on other people.
Up to 100%. Anything with feces or urine.
Feces, yeah.
Dressing up like a baby. Did we talk about that already?
Yeah, you said that in your example about CEOs.
Apparently, that's what I'm interested in. Yeah, I revealed something.
Yeah, and these, by the way, they all exist. Yeah. The ones we're talking about exist.
And getting like your balls stepped on by high heels.
Yeah,
Sorry.
It's so specific.
I
was focused on the stepping part, and then when you said the high heels, I was like, ooh.
What are you going to get your balls stepped on by a regular shoe? The whole point is
I thought that a foot.
It's not my thing. I swear it's not my thing. I just know. People have told me.
Okay, our point is that gagging is not that, like, it's like, all I'm saying is brava. Good for you for having a fetish, and it's not that crazy.
I'm gonna take it a step further. I think you should be embarrassed that you're embarrassed about your gagging fetish.
Okay, let's finish the story. I genuinely would never act on this fantasy, if you will, but I do sometimes look at porn that features gags when I'm having alone time, if you know what I mean. Did she give her age? Okay, later she says that they're both 27. Because I can't help but wonder if by the time she's 37, if she will have acted on this fantasy. Yeah. Anyway, today my boyfriend of a year and a half wanted to show me a video, and he used my phone to do so. I forgot to clear my search history after having some alone time, and he saw that gagged was in my search history.
That's amazing. If I saw that in your search history, we'd have a second wedding. We would renew our vows.
I wanted to jump out of a building, but he just kept typing in whatever he wanted to show me and acted like he didn't see it. Well, now I am literally sick with embarrassment and I am not sure what to do. Do I bring up the fact that he obviously saw my search history and confront this very weird fetish I've kept in the dark for many years, or just continue to act like it never happened? I'm terrified he's going to Google this on his own now and see the kind of fucked up porn I watch and think differently of me. For background, my boyfriend and I are both 27 and recently moved in together after being long distance for a year. I am very happy with our sex life and our life in general. However, sex feels more pertinent here, LOL. and have found him to be the first partner that I can fully enjoy sex with after years of painful or uncomfortable sex. I like to think of myself as a fairly sex-positive person, but not surrounding this topic. Please help me relieve myself of the crippling anxiety I'm currently feeling. Sincerely, an embarrassed Shandy. Okay. I think she's doing this to herself. I think he just doesn't want to embarrass you by mentioning it.
I got to be honest. The person who should be embarrassed here is her boyfriend that he hasn't gagged her yet after seeing that search history.
I mean, baby steps. She said that she would never act on it, which she just feels a lot of shame around her fetish, clearly.
Get that gag on.
And yeah, well, they can work up to that.
Just
I think
say, look, you saw my search history. Why haven't you gagged me yet?
They just moved in after being long distance for a year. And if this works out, they have a lifetime together to explore these things. I just think, embarrassed, you are taking on way too much shame over something that is really not that uncommon. Sure, you would rather be able to like dip your toe deeper and deeper into this as you have sex with your partner and explore this more. But do you even think this needs to be addressed?
You know what gagging is like you're in prison and there's guys there for like murder and rape and like, bank robbery.
Yeah.
And, everyone's saying like, what are you in for? What are you in for? And then you ask someone, you're like, what are you in for? And, it's like jaywalking. And everyone's like, oh, well, I know whose lunch I'm taking. I mean, that's a nice word for what's going to happen to that guy. But my point is gagging is the jaywalking of the prison conversation.
Yes. That was an excellent analogy.
Thank you. I think I went too far with jaywalking. I could have gone a little more serious crime, but we'll live with that.
We get it. I actually think it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Do you think that embarrassed should even mention it to him? If it would relieve your embarrassment only.
I think,
in my opinion,
this is what I would do if I was her.
Yeah.
And I'm clearly not her, because I wouldn't be embarrassed about having a gagging fetish.
Yeah. But there might have been a time where you would have been. Like if I think back to my early 20s, when you're sort of still feeling shame around sex and you everything just feels like vanilla is correct. I can see it would be mortifying.
This is adorable.
Yeah.
I love this. This is a lovely story.
Yes.
It's a fairy tale of fetish.
I'm interested to know if he even really noticed. Do you think he noticed that?
Yeah. I do.
And so if you put yourself in the guy's shoes, you're 27 years old. Do you think that he feels any kind of, I don't know, perturbance? Is that a word? Perturbance? Is he perturbed?
That would be upsetting if he was perturbed.
It would be.
That would be an issue.
Yeah, we're not even talking about that.
It's one thing for him to say, like, I'm not into it. I'm just not going to do it because it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine.
Yeah.
If your partner wants you to gag them, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
It's not it's not obligatory.
Yeah.
It's your choice.
So you think she should bring it up?
I think she should bring it up.
Okay.
And bring it up in a funny way. Where you're like, gagging?
I feel like maybe this could be delved into in a subtle, gradual way where that's like, what are your fantasies? You have a conversation, you both had a few drinks and maybe you're like cuddling.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. What's the weirdest fantasy you have? And then you can kind of
that's a better
work
approach.
It in.
Yeah, I was wrong. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why this has to be funny.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be funny.
No.
This actually is a serious thing because let's face it, when you have a strong fetish, it's like you love pizza, but for some reason you live in a place where there's no pizza ever. It's like a real
Why
yearning.
would you live in that place?
That place is called hell. My point is it's a yearning that's never being satisfied. It's a real yearning.
Yeah.
She thinks she's like, you know what? I wouldn't mind being gagged. No, it's like she's in her alone time.
Yeah.
When she's reading her books and watching Netflix, whatever she does in her alone time. I'm assuming that's what's happening.
Yeah.
She's thinking about getting gagged.
Yeah. It's funny because I think that some fetishes or some things that you watch in your alone time are truly not things you would ever do. You feel gross for being turned on by it. But I think that with gagging, this is totally doable.
This is, I mean,
they're in a happy, loving relationship. It only takes two to tango.
I mean, you could almost accidentally gag someone. It's a low bar for fetish.
Okay, so our point is embarrassed. Please do not be embarrassed about this.
No, that's the key here.
Yes.
I don't even care if she just brings it up with her boyfriend.
I agree. Completely
The embarrassment is an issue. I'm very upset with you. Don't be embarrassed.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
Yep. If you want to take our advice, maybe you, during some pillow talk, you can be like, ooh, what do you fantasize about? Is there anything? Oh my God. There's a Sex and the City episode about this.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Of course.
When Carrie's dating the politician and his fantasy is to be peed on.
Oh, yeah.
And which, by the way, also common.
Super common.
And also less, more embarrassing
But
than
let's
the
not
gay.
judge fetishes.
No,
we're not.
I'm not saying it's not that. It's just
to normal, to like basic society.
Yes.
Getting peed on is probably more embarrassing than getting gagged. When like the most basic of basic people think about fetish, they're like, oh yeah, you like a gag tying me to the bed.
Yeah.
That's like 101 level.
Yes.
Peeing, they're like, what? This is disgusting.
You could totally meet someone that is into BDSM who would be like, what? Peeing?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you're going to meet someone who's into peeing who's like, what? Tie someone up?
Yeah. You animal. You monster.
But I will say the peeing one is not as uncommon as people think. There's just, I guess we're perpetuating the shame around it, which we shouldn't be.
No.
Because if you want to pee or be peed on in bed, then go for it. But my point being, there's a Sex and the City episode about this where they're like, in bed talking. And he's like, oh God, sex with you is so amazing. Like, I want you to be so satisfied. Is there anything that you wish that I would do? Am I satisfying you? Is there anything you wish I would do more? And she's like, no, you're amazing. You're perfect. And then he's like, oh, okay. And then there's a silence. And then she's like, is there anything you wish I would do? And he's like, no. Well, there is this one thing. I actually don't think that that's a bad way to have that conversation.
No, it's the right way.
Yeah. Maybe in a little less of like a fishing kind of way, but it to me, this is a pillow talk conversation.
Yeah. Number one, we think you should have the conversation. Yes. If you choose not to have the conversation.
Also respect that.
Or if you choose to have the conversation, either way, you should not be embarrassed.
Most importantly.
That's the prime focus here.
Totally agree. We've answered that. Good luck, embarrassed, but we hope you change your name.
And I hope you get gagged.
All right, this next question is from Kelsey.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Oh, boy.
I have been struggling with the decision to tell someone I like him, so I would love advice as to what to do. I, 23 male and American, have a tutor, 42 male in Greece, who I meet with every week, sometimes twice a week for language lessons on Skype.
Oh, there's a hot scene already.
I have been taking lessons from him for a year and a half, but my crush first developed 3 months into the lessons. After 6 months, he shared with me that he is also gay, making me like him more because it made me feel there was a chance something could happen. Now, like I said, before I knew he was gay, I developed a crush on him. It was manageable. I knew I was his student, and my purpose was to only learn the language, and we were both very professional, of course. After he shared he was gay, my crush began to deepen. At this point, we opened up more and would have good conversations. Sometimes we would playfully tease each other, non-sexually, so I was still mostly professional to respect boundaries, especially since I have a crush. We would have conversations about who he likes, who I like, goals, life lessons, hobbies, etc., all very pleasant. He is also single, I point out. I met him just last week 2 times when visiting Greece. It was cool because I could practice my language skills. I hung out with him and a couple other of his friends. I really enjoyed it. He's sweet, a little quiet, smart, has sarcastic humor, and is handsome. I realized I really care for him more than just a crush, I believe. It's now been a year and 3 months and my feelings have not gone away. However, I don't think he sees me the same way. He likes young, said 33 or so is the youngest, but he's told me he likes younger. 25, he said, but he doesn't want to be seen as a perv if he goes too young. I wouldn't mind the age gap as long as both are consenting, of course. And the kicker, I don't think I'm his type. We were talking about our own dating lives, and he said he doesn't have a specific type, but based on who he usually likes, I don't think I'm it. I can't tell if he sees me as anything more than a student or friend. When I met him, he joked with his friends, also gay and in their 40s, that I'm young enough to be their son. Then he jokingly gestured to me to sit on his lap, but it was kind of cute, to be honest. I just playfully rolled my eyes. Another thing, like I mentioned, we live in different countries, and logically, I think I am being impractical in my feelings and desires. I'm looking for advice on what to do. I don't know if I should tell him I like him because I enjoy taking lessons from him and would truly miss him if he said it would be better to take a break and stop. Should I tell him? And if so, how would I mention it? Thank you, Kelsey.
Oof.
It's tricky.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, when it's a student-teacher situation.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it does seem to be private lessons from what I can gather.
Yeah.
Like they're just Skyping each other. So it's not like he's going to a school. But let's get one thing out of the way. The other guy, the 42-year-old Greek guy, the teacher, basically, he cannot make a move.
No, he can't.
It's up to Kelsey to make a move.
Yeah. I mean, this is a classic fantasy situation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like
for
it's
both
textbook.
parties. Yeah, for both
It's like
parties.
there's songs written about
Yeah.
this. Hot for teacher. I mean, this is just like, come on. This is
Yeah.
a really basic situation.
Yes. I kind of wish the distance wasn't in this equation.
Distance makes it more confusing.
Yeah.
Because this, if anything, I believe is going to be a one-night stand or a few night stands.
Oh, you
it's
don't
not
think-
going to be a real relationship.
I mean, crazier things have happened.
Okay, I can't say for sure it's not going to be, but it's more likely to be a fling of sorts than an actual, like, you know, we're together.
Well, I feel like that's in the same way that it's almost always more likely to be a fling of sorts than some lifelong relationship.
Well, when you're with a tutor twice your age and who's from Greece and you're from America,
Yeah,
it's
no,
more
you're
likely
right.
that
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
going to be a
yes,
fling.
okay, I'll give
Whereas,
that
like,
to you.
I
I'll
can't
give
even
it.
set up a more flingy situation.
Okay, well, he's had a crush for a year and 3 months.
Look, he's going to think about this for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I'll say two things. One is he's very young and he should experience a lot in life and not get hung up on this.
Yes.
But that being said, I think he should just roll the dice. He's gonna be upset about this forever if he doesn't try.
Yeah.
He should just roll the dice. You know, in the middle of the tutoring, you know, he's like, you know, X plus Y equals Z. You know, you just suddenly a hand
Well,
is
that's
laid
the problem
upon a hand.
The problem is that it's all over Skype. I think he should do a sort of like, I had a dream about you last night situation.
Oh shit, that's right. It's over Skype.
Yeah.
I completely.
I know.
I
like that.
envisioning
I like
together.
that
Yeah,
hand
yeah.
on hand, especially in the X plus Y equals Z during language tutoring.
I mean, that's a good move, right? And a little music starts playing.
Yeah.
Depends on what happens next. That'll determine what music starts playing.
Yeah, it might be one of those record scratches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this crush has been going on long enough that it's worth at least dipping your toe, Kelsey, into flirtatious territory just to kind of see. But I think you should also accept the fact that given the dynamic of your relationship, the fact that it's a teacher-student,
Yeah.
I do think the age difference is, I think it is
It's
something to
big.
consider. It is big. And most importantly, the distance.
Yeah.
I think you should accept the fact that this really might not go anywhere and enjoy. The same way we've said that when people are, when they have crushes on their bosses or colleagues at work, sometimes it really is meant to just live in that crush territory. Sometimes that state is really the pinnacle. Like you might be
so right.
disappointed by what
so right.
actually ends up happening.
You are so right. Because logistically, this doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. But that said, I'm a big believer in like getting answers, like information being power. And the whole coulda, woulda, shoulda to me is the word. Like there's no, you know, I don't want to sound like a meme, but the only, you know, regrets are the chances you didn't take. What's the meme? How does it go?
The only
mistakes are the chances you didn't take.
there's something with there's only the only pitches you miss are the ones that you don't swing at. Well, that's definitely wrong. That's definitely
we know
wrong.
everyone knows what we're talking about. We just can't think of it in the moment.
Yep.
That's going to drive me crazy. But the point being, you could dip your toe into flirtatious territory by being like, "Ooh, I had a dream about you last night.
Nice.
It wasn't safe for
I like
work."
this. I like this.
Yeah,
This is
because
the way
then
to do it.
you can, if he doesn't reciprocate and seem to flirt and egg it on,
you got your
then you
answer.
can be like, "It was my subconscious." You know, blame it on your subconscious. It was just a dream.
Yeah. What do you think? I had this dream that I bought a plane ticket. I came to Greece. We were having a tutoring session. I put my hand on top of yours. And the next thing we know,
I love that. That's a part of it. I put my hand on top.
yeah. That's the most important thing.
Yes.
What song starts? You know what song starts playing? On the Wings of Love.
How does
Jeffrey
that-
Osborne.
Sing it.
Great light hit of the 70s. Oh, wait, hold on a second. I know the chorus. I just forgot the verse. Hold on a second. I got nervous. On the wings of love. That's too high. Got to take it down a notch. I'm going to start there. Excuse me. On the wings of love, up and above the clouds, the only way to fly is on the wings of love. On the wings of love, up and above the clouds. The lyrics are different the second time. I almost think that. The only way to fly is on the wings of love.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
I can see why you thought of that song.
Thank you.
Especially since he had to board a plane that has wings to get
Yeah.
to the point where he would put his hand on his
Nice. I was thinking that too. Yeah.
Okay, so our advice for Kelsey. I think slide it in there subtly in a way that you can kind of cop out of. So basically a dream.
Shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot.
This
Why
is
not?
this whole question is answered in those 3 words. Shoot your shot.
Yes.
But that being
But
said,
don't go. I don't think it's a. Sorry, you finish.
no, it's okay.
No, you go. No,
you
you go. I won't forget what I'm going to say.
That being said, as Charlene mentioned earlier, you did,
Yeah.
that the fantasy aspect of this might be the most valuable part, and it might be worth preserving.
Yeah. That's honestly. I feel like maybe it takes a little more life having been lived to realize that. But when I look back, I think there's a lot of truth to that. But I also don't want to rob anyone of the experience in learning that lesson.
Yeah.
Also, I think the flirty nature really needs to be observed here. Like, I think we've made it clear, Kelsey, you need to be the one to to roll the ball in that direction.
To stroke the balls.
Stroke the ball. And if you don't feel that he's reciprocating it, that might be all the information you need. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But I really don't think that the teacher in this situation can make a move. So it is on you.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think it should be a sit-down conversation.
No.
Okay.
No,
You
no.
agree with me?
Oh,
I
no.
don't think it should be
No,
like, I
no.
want to talk to you about something.
No.
I have feelings for you.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
It
Okay.
should be blatantly obvious with a flirty kind of text
Yes.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, the flirting should build. This is a case of you need to rely on flirt. You both need to flirt with each other, speak flirt with
Yeah,
each
yeah.
other, observe each other's flirt, and each kind of take another step forward. It's honestly, I think whenever there's a sort of work environment or, one person's a superior to the other.
It's an unequal field.
Exactly. And therefore, you need to kind of egg each other on. And if you don't feel when you egg a bit that he is meeting you there, then just enjoy the fantasy.
Yeah. You got to drop the flirt hammer or just back off and enjoy.
Yeah. Okay, Kelsey, good luck. I would love.
And yes, I
We-
know what
we
you're going to
want an
say.
update.
I know it sounds crazy,
Yeah.
but we would like an update.
Yeah. Okay, good luck. And above all, enjoy. Fantasies are fleeting.
They are.
They don't need to be.
A good fantasy
good
is
fantasy.
sometimes better than a good relationship.
Yeah, it's like having a sex dream. Not to bring it back to dreams,
Yeah.
but how great is a sex dream?
I mean, my sex dreams always end at the wrong time. So they're
That's
usually
the thing is rarely
not
do you have a
great.
sex dream that goes from beginning to end and you're like, well, that was great.
Yeah,
Usually
never.
it's interrupted.
Yeah,
in
it's
some-
usually like the person turns into like my aunt or something. Like I'm like, how did this happen? It's unbelievable.
For me, it never reaches the actual sex part.
yeah,
Like it's a lot of anticipating, and then I wake up and I'm like, ah.
I totally agree. The only good sex dreams I have are not really sex dreams as much as suddenly I realize that I'm asleep and I'm dreaming.
Yeah.
And I'm aware, like me, like real life Andy is aware in the dream. Like it's like waking dream.
Yeah.
Waking life or whatever you call
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm dreaming. And I know I have like 15 seconds left.
It's lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm dreaming. I'm in public. I'm just walking down the street. I'm like, I got 15 seconds. And I'm grabbing every boob I see, every ass, the whole thing. Everyone's getting it. And that works. It works.
It's
and
allowed
good.
in a dream.
It's good. When I realize that, I'm like, this is amazing. And it's slowly that the sand out of that hourglass falls so fast, but it's so sweet while it lasts.
Apparently, you can train yourself to lucid dream.
Tell me more.
Apparently, it's something like, I don't know what I'm talking
Well, I
about.
saw a movie. There was a movie called Waking Life, I believe it was called.
Okay.
Or whatever. I think it was Waking Life. But what they do in this is my one takeaway from the movie. It was a great movie. It was an animated, it was a beautiful movie by Linklater, or whatever, famous director. And what he does is he trains himself to look for light switches.
Yeah. I was about to say the same one.
Yeah.
Where every room you enter, you do this gesture.
Yeah, you turn on the light, and does the light go on? And if the light doesn't go on or off, that means you're dreaming.
Yeah.
Or you need to call an electrician, but usually you're dreaming.
I want to work on that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's make that our goal.
I mean, that sounds like a worthwhile quest.
Yeah.
You can live out so many fantasies, and maybe in some of them you can fly.
I mean,
and you can control it.
It almost be so good you wouldn't want to be alive. You wouldn't want to live. You want to be awake. Like life would be very disappointing.
Why do you always have to take it in such a dark direction?
No, I'm just thinking of the costs. If we're going to embark on this, we got to be careful.
Okay, we're going to move on.
All right.
All right, this next question is from S. Dear Charlene and Andy, I'm dating a man who is significantly older than me. I'm newly 31 and he is 55 with 2 grown kids aged 19 and 21. We both live in the same city in a mountain west state. This has so far been the happiest I've been in a relationship, and we've been together about 6 months. He is an amazing communicator, checks in with me, and how I'm feeling all the time, is affectionate and fun, not to mention it is truly the best sex of my life. I actually had resigned myself to a mediocre sex life thinking something was wrong with me, but he has opened me up to the world of kink. And I've discovered so much with him about what really turns me on. This is an accidental theme in this episode.
Old men are a resource that is not used enough, not tapped as much as it should be.
I'm trying to enjoy it while it lasts, but worry that it's doomed to fail due to our age difference. We are in such different places in our lives. He's finished raising his family and plans to retire in a few years. I just finished grad school, am starting a new career, and am undecided on whether I want kids one day. It would be impossible with him. He's done with all that. Not to mention that, although I've introduced him to most of my friends who are all very happy for me and like him, I'm terrified to tell my mom. Oh. I know she would disapprove, but I hate keeping it from her. I've said I'll tell her when/if we decide to get more serious, and he's very understanding of this. Recently, he did say he's concerned that a long-term future for us isn't realistic. He worries about being an old man in 20 years, being wheeled around by his still young partner. He wants me to have everything I want in life, but knows there are some things he just can't give me due to the age difference. We talked and decided that while all these are valid potential future problems, they're not problems right now. We are still having fun together and want to enjoy being with each other and then face those potential problems as they come. But I still don't know what to do. Should I let this relationship play its course, express to him that I want to get more serious and take the plunge of telling my mom? Or should I wake up and realize that although it's fun right now, he is probably right in worrying that a future between us can't work? Should we break things off now before we're in too deep? S. And the title of the email is Doomed to Fail, Dating a Man 25 Years Older. And I alluded to this email in our last Q&A, but I didn't feel ready to take it on. Like I needed to marinate with this one.
This is a heavy one. And I have a lot of feelings about this. There's not going to be any clarity on this.
No.
But I'll say the following. Mm-hmm. I know a woman, it's a friend of my mom's.
Okay.
Who, when she was 25, married a 50-year-old man.
Okay.
Had an absolutely wonderful life with him. And he died when she was 55.
Okay.
And she's been alone ever since. So
she never remarried or anything.
She never remarried. And she's upset. And she's not thrilled about it. She used to travel with him. She used to do all this stuff. And she's sad.
She invested 30 years. And I mean, 25 to 55 are, I mean, those are I don't want to say that some years are better than others, but those are really high quality years.
They are. They're the money years. Mm-hmm. And no offense to people who live to 110. But
no offense to people who are under 25.
Freewheeling years between 90 and 160. But that's the cautionary tale. And you know what? It isn't a cautionary tale because she has said that she was the most wonderful time. Like she probably wouldn't do anything different.
Did she have kids with him?
They didn't.
They did not?
They did not.
Okay.
But I think that in the end, it was a slight loss for her. I think in the end, her glass was a little less full. But that's also not
our place to say.
Not my place to say.
How you said she's upset, but how do you know
She's talked about it to my mother.
Okay. Well, I mean, of course she's going to be upset, but...
Look, this is what I'm saying. That's kind of almost that's like a footnote. What I
Yeah.
really want to say here is that generally speaking, if a man gave a woman that line, like, oh, I'm going to be too old one day, it's not worth it, I would be like, that guy's a scumbag. But this guy, I think it's being 100% not only sincere, but like it's almost the ultimate sacrifice. Like I think he really actually loves her.
I think so too.
And I think he's saying like, I love you so much that I don't want to put you in this situation.
Yeah.
I already had my life. I have my adult kids. You're young. Go enjoy your life, even though I would love nothing more than to be with you happily forever.
And as we touched on in the last Q&A, when there was another age difference question, no one wishes that he could be younger, most likely for her, but also in general, than him.
Yeah.
Like for
of
anyone who
course.
wants to call this guy a creep, yes, it's
No.
a huge age difference, but I bet you anything if he could chop 10 years off his life, he would,
Of
in
course.
a heartbeat.
And also they're both adults, by the way. It's not like
Yeah.
he's 55 and she's 18.
Well, that's a crucial difference here. And I don't mean to sound like I think that 25 years is a normal age difference, because I think that is, it's bordering on problematic in my opinion.
problematic.
But she met him at 31. She's a full-blown adult.
No,
if
that-
it's 21 and...
Oh no, then I have issues.
Yeah, and 46, I can do math.
Yeah, there you go.
Then that's
Nice.
different. But you said something in the last Q&A. You have to bear in mind, and this is tying into your story, about the back end of your life and what that's going to look like, because it is likely that he will die not only before you, but long before you.
Yeah.
And that's a massive loss to go through. How long did she say they were dating? 6 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 months.
I as much as it hurts my heart, because I do think I get the feeling they have a good thing.
Yeah.
I think that she needs to see this as like a beautiful short thing that happened. Both of them need to see this, and I think he sees it.
He already sees it.
And
he does.
I
He
think-
wouldn't have said that.
She needs to go. He needs to let her go, which he has, and she needs to accept it. They can have a relationship going forward. They can become great friends. They can become the best friends in the world. They could even continue some kind of, romantic relationship on and off. But I do believe that she needs to move on with her life simply because I believe that regardless of what he said. But in this situation, I believe the real deciding factor is what he told her. He actually told her. He's like, listen, I don't think this is a great call for you.
Why do you think that plays such a role?
Because he's giving her the out.
Yeah, he's not making it hard for her.
No.
So I'm hesitant to be like, you should end this. I don't want to ever tell anyone that they shouldn't be with someone regardless of the age difference. But I will say, as someone who is in a relationship where the age difference is less than half of that, the creep in the room, everyone. That's a callback to last week's Q&A.
Thank you very much.
Last month's Q&A. I am acutely aware of the fact that it is more likely than not that you will die before me, and that will be the most difficult thing that I go through. And like the idea of that being doubled is upsetting. I don't know if I could handle
of
it.
all the fears I have, it is the most salient fear is the thought of you being alone because I died sooner than you. Like there's nothing that gives me more existential horror than that.
Yeah.
Like my own death is meaningless compared to that horror. So being less than half the age difference they have.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine what he's going through thinking of that if he really, really, really cares about her.
Yes.
And he does. And he easily could be the opposite. He could be the guy who's like, oh, you can't leave me.
Yeah.
I'm old. Like,
Yeah.
you don't. You'll leave me. I have nothing
look after
left.
me. Yeah. And like, oh, so like lucky me, I get to bone a girl 25 years my junior. I don't get the feeling
he's
that
like,
he's
you
like
want
that.
younger guys. I'm
Yeah,
too old. What am I, ugly? Am I disgusting? He could
he's
be
not
the opposite.
guilting her. That's true. That's true. But we're glossing over, we're focusing a lot on the age difference and not enough on the fact that it's only 6 months in. I think that this is an extremely sex forward really. And don't get me wrong, those relationships serve a purpose. I'm not disregarding this
I think this will be one of the most important relationships she'll ever have in her life.
Totally. And when I look back to the relationships that really opened my eyes from a sexual standpoint, in the moment, like 6 months in, you're like, this is it. I found it. I found the holy grail. I am marrying this person and we're good to go.
You're talking about me, right?
But you know, sometimes you'll have a relationship where it's like really formative. It helps you define that you want to be gagged, to call back to that earlier question. You know, things that you find someone who will open those doors that you're too afraid to open or too ashamed or embarrassed to open. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that person is who you should marry and spend your life with.
No. It's a chapter. It's an important chapter.
Yes.
Not unlike the chapter of the rat book where the humans go extinct from Instagram.
Yes. In the book of your life, the textbook, I know for me, I dated someone for under a year who in the beginning I was like, I'm marrying this guy. You know what I mean?
Sure. Everybody does.
But he made me feel less shame in the bedroom, and he served a purpose that cannot be underestimated. And he was also fun. Like a lot of the things she's saying about him, she's described him as, you know, she's never been so comfortable, all these things. But I would be wary, of confusing that with life partner material. And I don't even mean to be talking about his, like, I'm making a point of not talking about his age because I think it's really important for you when contemplating going deeper into this and telling your mom and just kind of getting more wrapped up in this and making it harder to extricate yourself, I would consider what the relationship with him as a human and your lifestyles and being at such different points in your life looks like separate from the euphoria you feel in being with him. Especially like how you feel you're coming into your own with him. That is very powerful.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't make that person your perfect life partner.
And I would say this too. There are people out there. There are 31-year-old women who can be with a 55-year-old man for however long it lasts till one of them kicks the bucket, most likely him. But I'm just saying they can do it and they can be perfectly happy and it can serve whatever purpose they're looking for. They're strong enough to just be like, I'm going to deal with that. I can deal with it. I know myself. Like I can live with that and move on. Some people are strong like that. I'm not. I couldn't do that. But what I'm saying is that there are people out there who I think this could work for in some way, regardless of how fast he died. I mean, it's morbid, but like, I don't know how else to say that. But my point is this. Once again, we have the luxury of knowing that she wrote into a podcast about this. And if you're a 31-year-old dating a 55-year-old man with 2 grown kids and you're writing into a podcast about the age difference, my guess is you should probably think of this as a chapter and not the book.
But
I don't have a but.
Okay. But I don't want to give like hard advice once again. So this is one of those classic cases where the conversation should serve as food for thought. I don't want it to be like, you should do this, you should end it, or you should tell your mom, don't tell your mom. We've said last week that age is just a number. And I think it is for the most part in terms of compatibility. But there's more to choosing who you shack up with for life than just compatibility.
Yeah. And everything's just a number, by the way. Everything.
You love making things numbers.
Everything is a number.
Okay, S. I hope that conversation helped. Once again, I don't want it to be hard advice. It's just a conversation.
Yeah. No
judgment either way. But I gotta say, if I were her mom, I also wouldn't be thrilled.
Oh, man.
Oh, God.
Her mom.
I was like shitting bricks telling my mom about you.
Yeah. Her mom's going to write into Dear Shandy and be like, hi, I'm a mother of someone who wrote into Dear Shandy, and the advice you gave them is making me not like Dear Shandy.
Okay, I think we answered that one, except we didn't. We just talked about it. It was just a conversation. And I think that's a wrap, Andy.
Is. That's the end.
If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's just right there or there. It's close.
Here.
It's really easy to find.
It depends where you're scrolling.
The subscribe button is red. Also very easy to find.
Easy.
Tell your friends, leave us Apple and Spotify podcast ratings and reviews, and generally do all the things that you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. And that's a wrap for this Q&A. Q&A number 25, by the way.
Oh, that's a milestone.
Yeah, it is.
Quarter century.
Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye. Dear Shandy.